And welcome back to Idaho Today. Not all war stories are created equal. Some demand a second look and a fresh set of eyes to re-examine the details. History has enlisted former U.S. Army intelligence analyst Ron Adkins and Recon Marine War veteran Rudy Reyes to stitch together missing intel. It's a fascinating new history series. It's called The Proof is Out There, Military Mysteries. And it requires an A-team of experts to really take a closer look at some of these stories. We're joined right now by Ron and Rudy. Gentlemen, very, very, very fascinating. And this is a series that I know many of our viewers are going to be just biting at the bit to watch. So let's give them as much of the information that we can ahead of time so they know what to expect. Tell me first, though, about both of your personal experiences serving our country.
Rudy, you want to take that one? Lead us out of the gate.
Sure, brother. Well, President Clinton said we were going to put boots on the ground for a humanitarian mission in Kosovo, and I was compelled then to do my duty. So I joined as an infantryman. I was fortunate to have a chance to try out for selection, and when the towers were hit, my team and I were in the Persian Gulf, and that's what led on to the war on terror. So after multiple tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, HBO made a miniseries about my team. Now we're in entertainment, infotainment, and we're bringing the whole audience along with us for this ride.
Wow, that's fantastic. What about you, Ron? Tell us about your time.
Well, fresh out of high school, I really only had one option. It was either going to be join the military or progress down a path that, probably would have ended up going pretty poorly from a life perspective. I grew up watching Rudy on Generation Kill.
Thank you, brother.
So he's an early hero of mine, getting the chance to work with him now. I deployed twice to Afghanistan as an intelligence analyst, as well as in information operations and military deception. And I think a lot of that background came in quite handy when it came to covering some of these stories.
Wow. Okay. And Ron, you actually kind of point out the importance of why we should be telling these stories, because Rudy inspired you to serve your country, which we all know that enlisting is down, right? That's something, that's a whole other conversation with you guys in the future. But I'm really glad, though, to see that you are not only sharing these really compelling stories, but stories, too, that are likely going to be inspiring future generations to step up to the plate and serve. And on that note, thank you both for your service. However, let's talk about this amazing series that you have both invested in. The stories that you share are both heartbreaking and they are remarkable. I would love to know which segments and tales that you both investigated that really stood out over the season.
Well, I'll lead us out on that one, Rudy. The ones that really stuck out to me, we're covering everything from deception, despair, deceit, dolphins. You're gonna catch a wide range of emotions, when it comes to this show. And my favorites are those that deal with realms outside of deception planning. We're still going to be covering things that highlight units that had such a large impact on the outcomes of the biggest wars we have ever been a part of or seen as a society. But where it starts to get interesting for me is, when we start to talk about how we're using animals to enable us in war. Rudy?
It's so interesting that Ronnie brings up our VSW. We have a, until recently being declassified, a very shallow water mammal program. So myself, Recon Marines and SEALs training dolphins, sea lions, with weapons to patrol our harbors. And this program has been going on since Vietnam. And, with our top secret clearances that we have, it's amazing that now it can be revealed, these programs and these commitments to keeping our country safe, that we're willing to take any chance and use any technology and really think outside of the box. Now, but on the other side of that, so, enemy combat divers being engaged by dolphins and by sea lions, I think that's pretty rad, but it was since a part of my everyday training in life. When I think about Ronnie's understanding of blending, hiding, deceiving, deception plans, the intellect and the knowledge that he has brought to the table, for instance, in the World War II deception for D-Day.
Yeah.
I was fascinated. It seems that when we work on this program, I love this guy, by the way, we both are learning from each other, and from a 30,000 foot view to the very boots on the ground experience. Together we collaborate for a rock'em sock'em show.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know you guys also use experts to help analyze videos and photos, right? That just really lends to the credibility of what you are doing and what you're sharing as well. Some of this stuff, like you had mentioned, was classified, and now you're in this position where you're talking about it. I'm just such fascinating stories, even involving servicemen and women. Did you have to reach out to those families before you could tell some of these stories?
The families had to be, quite engaged, and are quite engaged throughout the show. As you'll see, we'll talk about, Commander Scott Spiker. We'll talk about other missing pilots. We'll talk about, again, a wide range of emotions. I'd hate to give away too much because we're covering so much in each episode, but we found a way to, for each story, make sure we're providing context and nuance to some very, very complex questions. But the families are very, very much so engaged throughout the process.
Oh, you guys, this is so intriguing. I'm excited. I know many people are. Where can they go so they can watch?
Melissa, we're on History Channel, the one and only History Channel. Now, Ronnie, where are we streaming? Where are we streaming at? Do you know?
You're going to find it on history.com and in their app next day if you can't catch it live.
All right, so they have an app for that. Of course they do. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it, and looking forward to staying in touch with you as well, because I know you have a lot more fun adventures coming up too. Everyone, stick around. We have more to come here on Idaho Today right after the break.